Good morning. I am at Udara in Canggu, Bali. So I got the ocean behind me and I still got volcanoes Batur and Agung behind me, which is amazing. Today we're going to focus on a little bit of strength, but also just a little bit of help from our trusty little blocks. So if you're having a home practice, try to find something that is similar to a block. You want it to be hard enough to take the weight of the body for some of the exercises. You can find a nice rectangular book if you have some encyclopedias. Encyclopedias are great. And if you have blocks, even better. But let's go ahead and just take a seat. For those of you that are really inflexible and it's kind of difficult to have yourself on a seat because the knees are up, bring a block already underneath the seat, but make sure your hips are coming far enough forward that the femurs, the thighs, are pulling down, so the knees are pointing down towards the earth. Shut the eyes down. Just allow yourself to drop into breath here. And take the right ear to the right shoulder. And chin to chest. Left ear to left shoulder and the head back. So just begin to take some neck rolls. Allowing an opening of the heart space. Some opening into the neckline. Just move in the opposite direction when it feels right. Then we come back up to neutral. Can inhale, sweep the arms up, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach. And exhale, hands to the heart. You can open the eyes here. And go ahead and bring a block out in front of you. You're going to squeeze a block between the forearms and lift it up in front of the face. Press through the block. Make little fists here. And keep the elbows in line with the shoulders, so we're creating a little 90-degree bends. And really press here for an isometric press. So you want the right forearm to press into the block. So we might not see the effort, but the effort is there. And we're really beginning to bring heat into the shoulders. Stay for 5 more breaths. And then lower the block down. So you can stay on the seat, on the block if you need to, or come down to a seat on the earth. And bring a block over to the right. So you want to have it on the medium height. And we're going to bring our right elbow down onto the block. Right hand behind the right ear, stretching the left arm up and over. So just finding some length through the left side body. You can even tilt the head up towards the left. And come back up through center. Bring that block over towards the left side. Left elbow down on the block. Left hand behind the left ear. Right arm stretching up. Open the chest. Keep that right hip plugged down. And slowly bring the hands up, hands resting on the knees, shut the eyes down. You can open the eyes and cross the right knee over the left knee. Keep both hips square as much as you can. And you're going to bring that right block back over to the right side. Right elbow onto the block, right hand behind the right ear, left arm stretching up and over. Find length here through the left side. And maybe even bringing the left hand behind the head, binding the palms together, the fingers together, opening the chest. So we've got construction happening behind us. Not sure what's going on. The yoga studio has turned into a construction studio. Let's go back through center. Bring that block over to the left. Left elbow down to the block. Left hand behind the left ear. Right arm stretching up and over. You can bring the right hand behind the head. Open the heart. And come back through center. And just cross the left knee over the right this time. So your block is already where it needs to be. Keep the hips grounded. Bring the elbow down to the block. Right arm stretching up and over. Find length through the right side. Right hand behind the head, maybe opening the chest a bit more. And come back through center, move over to the right side. Right elbow down, right hand behind the head. You can bend the left elbow, bring it back behind you as well. And slowly come back through center. And just cross the legs for a moment, sit up nice and tall. And slowly open the eyes. And go ahead and bend the knees. And grab a block. You're going to bring the block between the thighs. Lift the legs up. We're coming into Navasana, boat pose. So squeeze the thighs together. Arms reaching forward. You've probably noticed that we've changed locations. We had construction happening in the main studio, so we're over in the hangout area. I'm just trying to distract you while you work your core out. So open the chest, shoulder blades down the back, press the thighs in together. And really, this helps you engage through the pelvic floor, find that pelvic lock. And then slowly cross the ankles. This is going to be tricky. Come on to the hands. You can remove the block actually. And then step back to downward facing dog. Then we're going to bring that block again between the thighs. Squeeze the thighs together in downward facing dog. So this helps us to work with internal rotation of the thighs. You can do this pose even if you don't have a block. No worries. But work on internally rotating the thighs, pressing the hips up, pulling belly in towards the spine. Sink the heels, fingers nice and wide. Take 4 more breaths here in downward facing dog. And then slowly bring the right hand to release the block. And bring the hands down to the earth. On an inhale, roll forward to a plank. Pause here, round the upper back slightly. Pull the belly in towards the spine, engage through the core. Take an inhale. Exhale, knees to the earth, chest to the earth, hips high. Inhale forward onto the belly, open the heart space, shoulders down the back. On an exhale, hips to heels. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, knees and chest, hips high. Inhale forward onto the belly, open the heart. Exhale, press hips to heels, downward facing dog. Bring the blocks right where the hands would go. So in your downward facing dog with your blocks, about shoulder width distance apart, let the head drop in. So this is going to help us elevate into our vinyasa. On an inhale, come forward to a plank. On an exhale, lower halfway, elbows in by the ribs. Inhale forward, open the heart space. Keep the thighs lifted, press into the tops of the feet. Take another breath. On the exhale, use the core, draw the hips back as you tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Again, inhale forward to a plank. On an exhale, lower halfway, elbows in by the ribs. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here. Breathe in. Can move the blocks off to the side. And then slowly begin to walk the feet towards the hands. Take an inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold in. Slight bend in the knees, let the arms hang here. On an inhale, come all the way up, rounding up, letting the arms hang, pressing through the feet. Take an inhale. On an exhale, chin to chest, rounding all the way back down. Let the arms hang. Try not to bring the hips too far back. Fold in. Bring the block between the thighs. Inhale, lift up halfway, squeeze. Exhale, fold. Deep bend in the knees. Reach the arms forward. And then all the way up, chair pose. Again, internally rotating, pressing the thighs together into the block, keeping the heart space nice and open. Bring the hips back, put more weight into the heels. Spine nice and long. Breathe here. Exhale, fold to the earth. So we're engaging through the thighs here, creating some strength into the glutes. Again, inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Deep bend in the knees. Reach the arms forward. And then reach the arms back behind you. Keep the chest nice and open, looking forward and down. Sink the hips even lower. Squeeze the block. Turn the palms out. And then turn the palms up. So opening the shoulders and closing the shoulders. Twice more, inhaling, opening, exhaling, closing. Inhale, and exhale, fold all the way down. Remove the block, inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank position. Inhale here. Exhale, come down halfway, elbows in by the ribs. Inhale forward, upward facing dog, shoulders down the back. Exhale, downward facing dog. And step the right foot forward. Bring the left knee down. Reach up with the arms, Anjaneyasana. Nice low lunge. Bring the block alongside the right hip. If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can just keep the right arm plugging into the right side, left arm stretching up and over. If you have the block, bring your weight onto the right block, opening that left shoulder nice and wide and bending deeper into the right knee. So sinking the hips, finding length through the left quads, into the hip flexors. Slowly rounding over towards the left side. Bring the left heel behind the left glute, sinking back towards your left heel. So sage pose, the right knee is nice and open. Come down to a forearms or a block. If you need a block, stay more upright. If you can come down to the forearms, come to the forearms. Hips can be elevated or sinking all the way back. You can also find a little bit of movement. I like to find little circles. Or you can sit static in the pose. So we're opening into that right hip. Inhale, come up onto the fingertips. Then come up onto the left knee. You can get that block out of the way. So the right knee is in that 90-degree bend, standing on the knees. Bring the left hand down behind you in line with the left hip. Right arm stretching up and open. So twist the chest up, look up. Get a nice opening into the right hip. Maybe lengthening the right leg out. Setting the right foot down. And then slowly sweeping out to the front of the mat. Straighten that left leg behind you. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, right knee down, reach up, Anjaneyasana. Same thing, have a block over by the left hip if you need it. Bring the left arm down the left side, right arm stretching up and over. If you need the block, left hand weighs in on the block or fingertips on the earth. Find length through the right side body. Now sweeping the right arm forward, over to the right side. Coming over to the right side, right heel behind the right glute. Sink back onto the right heel, folding in onto the forearms, sage pose. Coming up onto the fingertips and onto the right knee. Bring the right hand back in line with the right knee, left arm stretching up and open. Straighten the left leg if you can, set the left foot down. Nice open chest. And slowly sweep the left arm forward towards the left foot. Hands around the left foot, straighten the right leg back, and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale forward, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Come down to the knees, let them go wide, sit back onto the heels, child's pose, forehead to the earth. You can take a deep breath in, deep sigh out. Slowly bring the hands back towards the body, sit back onto the heels. Sitting up nice and tall, hands resting on the thighs. Taking a moment of stillness. And open the eyes. Bring the hips over to the right side and swing the legs out in front of you and grab both blocks. So we want to have both blocks on either side of the hips. Bend the knees. And we're going to bring the feet off of the earth. So the blocks will be right in line with the hips moving forward. Take a hold of the back of the thighs. And we're just going to do a little bit of core here towards the end of our flow. So hands reaching forward. Take an inhale. As you exhale, cross the ankles, hands into the blocks, lift the hips. Inhale, both. Exhale, cross the ankles, lift the hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Sink the hips, move the blocks off to the side. Hands resting on the knees. A couple of deep breaths in and out. You can open the eyes. Bend the knees. Take a hold of the shins and just rock onto the back. You take your block, let the feet come down to the earth. Take one of your blocks long ways. Lift the hips up as you press through the bottom of the feet and bring the block underneath the hips here. So coming into a supported bridge pose. Supported Setu Bandhasana Sarvangasana. Hands alongside the body and just allow the hips to be grounded here. This might feel really nice for the belly after the core work. Maybe you can lengthen one leg out forward and then the other. You might have to move the hips around to be supported on the block in a way that feels good. Maybe the right arm lengthens back and then the left arm get nice and long across the front line. Such a nice grounding pose for our hips. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Bring the hands alongside the body, lift the hips up, and bring them down. Lift the head up, bring the block underneath the head. And we want to come to the sharp edge of the block along the occipital ridge. Hands resting on the belly. This is one of my favorite poses to do. You're going to find that sweet spot, that ridge between the cranium and the neck, and just begin to rock from side to side. So we're doing these nice grounding poses at the end of the flow just to allow ourselves to really arrive, to enact the parasympathetic nervous system. So getting that rest and relaxation impulse. Back through center. Lift the head up and grab your second block. I'm going to come into Shavasana. So get nice and long. If you don't have two blocks, just stay here in Shavasana, taking some moments just to ground. If you have the blocks, take them the flat way, and you're going to bring the edge of the block to the very edge of the hips. So each side, we have the glutes, the butt is hanging in the center here. So just the very edge of our hips is supported by the edge of the block, and you'll feel the glutes and the butt sink between the middle, and this just helps us ground. So allow the hands to fall alongside the body. And this is just a bit of a hip supporting Shavasana. If you don't have two blocks, completely fine, just take Shavasana here. And let's just allow ourselves to relax in for about 10 breaths. Stay in Shavasana for however long you need. Or if you're ready, you can come up to a seat with me. If you have the blocks underneath the hips, you can bend the knees, plant the feet, lift the hips, remove the blocks. If you're in Shavasana, find your way up to a comfortable seat on your own. And we'll all meet in a cross-legged seat, sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders relaxed, eyes shut down. And bring the left hand to the pelvic floor, palm shining up. Right hand on top of the left palm, thumbs in towards each other, setting on top of each other. So as if you were holding a little dish in the palms. And just allowing some comfort, some ease, some grounding to set in here. And bring the palms together at the heart, bowing head down towards heart. So grateful for you showing up for your practice today, for allowing me to guide you through your physical practice and allow you space to guide yourself through your mental practice. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me this morning and allowing a little bit of a switch up from the venue space. So that's Bali. There's beauty and progress and chaos in everyday life. You can find more of my yoga videos at youtube.com/Echo Giselle Widmer. And if you're interested in diving deeper into your yoga journey, to learn more about yourself, or if you're interested in teaching or going on an adventure around the world that is with yoga, you can check out my website at echoflowyoga.com. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you next time.